Hi guys, I decided to give the voiceover thing a try, and I'm really dreading listening to my own voice because I just don't like the way it sounds, but I think most people don't like the sound of their own voice. In any case, I'll jump right into this video and show you and talk about what I'm showing you. Basically, I am underglazing a piece that I worked on, this little dog, and it's unfired. So that's the first thing that I do before I fire my pieces. I like to apply underglazes, and for the eyes here, you'll see I am applying a slip that I mixed with a special stain color, and the color that you see is not quite what it's going to be once it's fired. A lot of the colors really do change during the firing process, so that's one of the things that is kind of interesting and exciting about working with clay, is that there's a level of surprise when you get the pieces out of the kiln, and I hope to show you this one finished. Once what I do is, after I finish the first layer of underglazes, I fire the piece, and I then come back on a second time and I put some oxides and I fire it a second time. If I'm still not happy with the results, because I'm really looking for a layered look that's got a lot more depth and that doesn't really look too flat, I might even add a third firing, especially if I'm using glazes at this point that vitrify and turn really glossy. So just one of the things here, I don't know if you've ever worked with clay or glazed anything before, but you've got to apply everything 3 times. So when you see me going over the surfaces over and over and over, that's because I'm trying to build up. I go one time, I make sure that it dries, and then I go back a second time and make sure that it's really thick. Otherwise it gives it a really washed out kind of look when it's fired, and it's not really what I'm looking for. I've been working on these dogs now for a few months. I decided to share a little bit of my process because it seems intimidating to a lot of people. You know, they look at clay and they look at something done in ceramics, and they don't really understand it, and they don't really know what kind of process, how many steps, and how much work is involved in a finished piece. And this that you're seeing here is just a very short portion of the entire process. The building aspect of it, which is one of the parts that I enjoy a lot, is very time consuming as well, because you're taking the clay and you're molding it and you're doing it all piece by piece. That's the kind of wonderful thing about clay, is that you can just do anything that you want with it. It starts to take a form on its own. I don't really necessarily work with molds, although I have used them in the past, but I still like to put my touch into every piece that I make. So I don't like that look of cookie cutter, you know, look basically when you're working with a mold. I really do try to make everything that I create very unique. So right here I'm still just applying underglazes, and this is probably going to be about 5 minutes long. It's a little long. Just trying to, I sped up some of the areas, and I didn't want to make it too fast because I did get some complaints at one point that you couldn't really see what was going on and things were moving a little too fast, and some people recommended that I slow it down in some areas and speed it up in others. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, just so that you can see pretty much the process of the whole glazing. And this took me about an hour and a half, I want to say. So I'm compressing you know, an hour and a half worth of work in just about under 5 minutes. And I try to for this particular dog, I think I looked a little bit at some references just to make sure that the ears had a little bit of darkness, and under the eyes, it doesn't really show once it dries, but once it's fired, like I said, a lot of these colors will pop. And I do some test styles from time to time to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen with certain colors and slips and stains once they're fired, and certainly with the glazes as well. So we're just about to finish here, and again, just wanted to share a little bit of my process with you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and please give me some feedback, share and like. I appreciate it. Thank you.